This is Judith Lay welcoming you to Manx Radio and to the podcast of this week's edition of At Your Service. Manx Radio! Happy Father's Day to all dads, father figures and the dads whose memories we cherish very specially on this day. May this be a day when those special men feel loved and valued, and may the memories we'll recall today be a source of peace and happiness. Wallingford Parish Church Choir bring us our opening hymn today, Be Thou My Vision, O Lord of My Heart. Be Thou My Vision, O Lord of My Heart. And there'll be more from Wallingford Parish Church Choir later in the programme. Last week, I said that today we'd be meeting a recent visitor to the island, Jill Webber, a Canadian-born writer and spiritual director who's at present a member of the community at Waverley Abbey in Surrey. Well, we've still got that conversation to look forward to because I've done a bit of a switch around today and I'd like to tell you about a service in the cathedral last Thursday night, a service that was all about affirming a shared commitment to building safer communities for all. The service brought together clergy and lay people from all over the island, people who serve their church communities in a variety of ways, and it was led by Bishop Tricia with the theme Together being a community of safe care. During the service, tribute was paid to Tony Connell, who retired recently after many years of skilled and dedicated work as the island's ecumenical safeguarding officer. His role has now been taken over by Abby Clefane-Wilson, a former social worker and a very experienced safeguarding officer who will have care of the Diocese of Sodor and Man in addition to her safeguarding role in the Manchester Diocese. Her link to the churches on the island will be through Lisa Morris, our locally based diocesan safeguarding support officer, who's well known for her safeguarding work with the island's churches alongside Tony Connell. After Thursday night's service, I had a chance to talk with Lisa Morris, Abby Clefane-Wilson and Bishop Tricia to explore this much more positive approach to safeguarding. Not an obligation or a set of rules, but rather a commitment to maintaining a safe, caring culture because of what we believe about God. During the service, Bishop Tricia spoke of how every human being is made in the image and likeness of God. Every person who walks through the doors of our churches bears God's image and possesses a dignity that no one and no circumstance can take away. To safeguard another person, therefore, is not simply to manage risk. It's to honour the image of God in them.
Safeguarding is really for us about a safer culture. It's about the culture that we're called to share together and to build. So it draws first and foremost not on all of the policies and all of the regulations, although those are really crucial, but actually on our belief in who God is, and most of all the character of God and the sort of body that we're called to be and enabled to be. And I used the phrase, the truest version of ourselves as God's people.
You may also put out a very powerful question, and you said, think about it. Who did Jesus get drawn to first and foremost and instinctively to in the Gospels? And if we're following Jesus, we too should be drawn to those people.
And we are those people, I think. So it was interesting hearing what people were calling out at that point. And they talked about children, they talked about people who might be seen as outsiders, they talked about widows. So all of us at one point or another in life may well find ourselves at a point of vulnerability. So actually this is not about us and them. This is about all of us being made in the image of God. And that's where we start. One of the things that Christians often struggle with is how do we respond to the concept of power and how we live it. And one way, which I don't think is very healthy, is to pretend we don't have power. Of course we do. We all exercise power and influence. That might be in a role like a member of the clergy, or it might be in a role like mine. But actually it might also be about experienced church members, people who've been in the church a long time. So we all have that gift of power. The real question is, how do we exercise it? And do we exercise it to make sure that we are able to include people? And so that's the question for me. And so the challenge is, am I exercising my power in a way that reflects the way Jesus exercised his power? And we were talking tonight about Jesus being the person who washed feet, who made sure that there was space for people to come together. That's how he used his power. And when we're thinking about safeguarding, that accountability, that humility needs to start with all of us who exercise power, and we need to be ready to be accessible and to be held to account so that we're working to be that church that Christ leads.
Abby, if I could turn to you. You come into safeguarding work with a social work background, so you're very experienced and in a very different area, coming from Manchester. But this, your second visit to the island, you seem to be liking what you're seeing here.
I've certainly received an extremely warm welcome, and it's very clear to see how seriously safeguarding is taken by all involved. And I'm really excited to be working alongside Lisa and supporting Bishop Tricia in terms of continuing to develop the positive culture that is already in place here in order to continue promoting safe environments for children, vulnerable adults and for all. so they feel safe, welcomed, and they feel that they're coming into an environment where if they are worried or concerned, they feel that those worries or concerns can be shared and that they can be heard, listened to and dealt with appropriately. And also that anybody who's dealing with a concern, who's impacted by abuse, feels that they are supported as part of any safeguarding situations that should occur.
Lisa, now you've got a wealth of experience because you've worked alongside Tony Connell, who was our safeguarding officer. Tony came along and he just embraced the role, transformed it, and you've been alongside him the whole time. So now, how do you see this relationship working with Abby, who is not based on the island?
Practically so far it's worked really, really well. We've developed a relationship. I know where Abby is. She's at the end of a phone instead of maybe over a coffee. But equally, the support's there. There's a team in Manchester as well that I can call on for other things that might not necessarily be a safeguarding concern. So we can share practices as well, looking at training, looking at how we interact with our parishers. I do have a good relationship with everybody and I have spoken to the whole team.
Training, you just mentioned training there. That's something that you and Tony have transformed. So you'll still be doing all of that, will you, Lisa?
I will, yes. We have tried to make sure that training is relevant for the people that are attending it. As Bishop Tricia alluded to there, we can all be that vulnerable person. Within our training, we express that actually it could be that person who's attending the training that actually needs that support and care from the people around them. And if we can do that safely and we know what that looks like, then that will create a safer church, where that's where the safeguarding vision comes in and we become a caring safely for people rather than a safeguarding of people.
Also involved in the service were members of a safeguarding development group. Lisa, could you tell me a little bit more about them, please?
So that's a group that is part of the diocese that overlooks what we're doing as safeguarding officers and questions potentially, but also tries to pull in everybody's opinions. So we had a representative from the safeguarding officers and from the clergy this evening. So we get opinions on what we're putting out to parishes and also ways that we could potentially do it differently if that's needed. And we look at what's coming up within the diocese and the safeguarding training we're doing. We have a safeguarding audit coming up and it's like an umbrella of safeguarding within the diocese, and that's what that group does.
Bishop Tricia, this is not a time for self-congratulation. This is a time for looking at a new vision to improve safe caring in the diocese. But at the same time, we are lucky to have very good safeguarding officers in our parishes. And that's so important, isn't it?
I think the safeguarding is done throughout the diocese at so many different levels, and it's really encouraging to hear how that is taken care of and looked after under Lisa's guidance and Abby's and others. Where it also really happens is at each parish, each church, each local community, and that's where it really makes the difference. And key to that are our clergy, but also, and perhaps especially, those parish safeguarding officers whom we were keen to thank tonight and to affirm. Their quiet ministry and service is crucial. It couldn't happen without them. So we're so grateful that so many of them were here and that we were able to thank them.
I came away from the service with a profound sense that we should be, all of us, just much more aware of the people around us who might be vulnerable, but not obviously so. And there might just be some unease that you feel about somebody and you don't even know why. But we've just got to be aware, haven't we? If we are caring safely, we've just got to be aware of that, haven't we?
I'd absolutely agree. I think one of the things that's come across very strongly is the care and compassion within the Diocese of Sodor and Man. I've had the opportunity to speak to a number of people today who've included parish safeguarding officers, members of clergy, and I was speaking to somebody called Jo around pastoral service that she's providing, that she's developed, and I can just see the care and consideration that's given to individuals within the church communities, and that's to all people. And because, as you've rightly highlighted, we can't tell whether somebody is in a vulnerable situation or experiencing difficulties. And I think that's central to the vision, as I'm starting to understand it, is around making sure that we do have that caring and compassionate approach to people.
A moment ago, Judith, you were talking about the fact we're not there yet. And I think for me that's really crucial, because what I'm so struck by is I arrived on the island and have been really impressed with the work that Tony and Lisa and others have done. So a huge foundation. And actually it's due to them that we're sort of working on this next step, really. So this is, for me, a key part of what it means to be a diocese that's trying to take safeguarding seriously. It's about being a diocese that's seeking to learn and to grow. So we're certainly not there, and there's more that we need to do, and this is all part of that.
But it's a journey that we all share together, whether we're a person in a pew or in leadership. We're all doing this together.
Absolutely.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Oh, Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving of ourselves that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life.
Wallingford Parish Church Choir again, with the prayer of St Francis, Make me a channel of your peace, a hymn that we sang in the cathedral on Thursday night as we move forward to understanding and embracing what it truly means to be a community of safe care. Being a community of safe care for all can take many forms. The New Note Orchestra, formed around 10 years ago, supports people in recovery from addiction through free, community-based arts programmes. This Brighton-based charity works closely with local recovery, homelessness and mental health services to reach individuals who may otherwise struggle to engage with community activities. They encourage them to join the orchestra with amazing results. This is a small charity that aims high. They've performed in the Royal Opera House twice in recent years, and in a few months' time they're releasing a CD of music composed by New Note Orchestra members and performed alongside musicians from the London Philharmonic Orchestra. Molly Matheson, founder of the New Note Orchestra, said, "Projects like this create meaningful opportunities for musicians affected by addiction, building confidence and creating new pathways, purpose and community. Through music and creativity, New Note Orchestra shows that people in recovery can move beyond isolation and imagine new futures for themselves." Let's listen now as some of the people involved in the project share some personal views.
We have really expertly skilled musicians of the London Philharmonic Orchestra, hand in hand, side by side with the musicians from the New Note Orchestra.
We've begun a partnership with the LPO, and they're coming in and supporting us to record this album.
My job is to develop community-led works. We talk to organisations, hear about the amazing work that they do, and see whether we can facilitate and support them.
Being a musician for 30 odd years, as you can imagine, the whole sex, drugs, rock and roll thing, and then being in recovery where you're kind of cutting out the sex and the drugs and the rock and roll, you're broken as a person, so you're having to rebuild your life again.
When I first came into recovery, I didn't know what to do with myself. Somebody told me about New Note Orchestra, so I decided to investigate and see what went on.
It's a very nurturing environment, very forgiving environment. It's okay to be yourself and to make mistakes.
When you first get sober, it can be a very scary place to be. So having something like New Note to be a part of, it was massive.
What we like to do is celebrate recovery through music. Once they walk into the rehearsal room, we see them as musicians, and that transformation from being an addict to being a musician is a really positive journey to take.
It's about creating that bond between people and to sort of empower one another, not just the members of New Note, but it also sort of gives something to our musicians. And they come out of this feeling just as joyful and excited.
It's not just about the music, but it's really being a part of that social group is a massive part of your life also. And it gives you that access to be a part of the community again.
Part of our work is to have quality experiences for people. They're out in the community being proud and sending that message out that people in recovery can achieve great things.
The Brighton-based charity New Note Orchestra, a great example of building a safer, caring community. Their music is available on Spotify, and their new album, produced in conjunction with some members of the London Philharmonic Orchestra, will be coming along in September. Singer-songwriter Naomi Bedford, whose own music we've already featured on this programme, works for the charity, and my thanks to you, Naomi, for sending us the story of the New Note Orchestra that speaks so strongly of the healing power of music. And now it's time to take a look at our notice board. And as usual, we start with events today. Port Erin Gospel Church have 2 services for this Lord's Day, this morning at 11:30 and this evening at 7, and everyone is most welcome to come and listen to preacher Elvis Hamilton. This is Prison Sunday, and to mark the day there'll be a special service in Derby Parish Church this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Bishop Tricia will preach, and everyone is invited to come together to pray for prison staff and residents, for the work of prison chaplains, for victims of crime and for survivors. Light refreshments will be available after the service. Today is the 164th chapel anniversary for Sandygate, the chapel right on the Sandygate crossroads in Derby, and they'll be celebrating with a special service tonight at 6:30. Gareth Moore will preach. Christine Bragazzi is the soloist and John Neal the organist, with refreshments afterwards and a warm welcome for all. And also this evening at 6:30, the Mariners Choir will be in Kirkmacold. As usual, the service will be followed by supper and community hymn singing. On to the week ahead now, and Wednesday is once again concert night in St Thomas's Church here in Douglas. Head to the church that's just off the promenade by the Gaiety Theatre for an hour of music from the Blue Train Saxophone Quartet. It starts on Wednesday evening at 7:45 with delicious refreshments afterwards, and whilst admission is free, donations to help with expenses would be gratefully received. This Thursday the 25th, it's the last Thursday in the month, so it's the day for the very popular afternoon tea at Ballygarry Chapel in St Mark's Village. Come along for a friendly welcome, a chat and a lovely afternoon tea. A donation of £12 per person is suggested, please. Also on Thursday the 25th, but in the evening, there's another Tabor on Thursday themed evening in Port St Mary Methodist Church. Starting at 7:30, this month it's a South Korean night with a meal. The cost is £18 per person and booking is essential, please. To book, call 483-096, 483-096, or you can email taboronThursday@gmail.com. Looking ahead to next weekend and next Sunday, the 28th, the Isle of Man Church Music Association have this year's Big Sing. The venue this year is St Anthony's Roman Catholic Church on Ridgeway Road in Onken, and all choirs who'd like to take part are invited to come to a rehearsal next Sunday afternoon at St Anthony's from 2 to 3:30. After a break for refreshments, there'll then be a short service starting at 4:30, at which Canon Philip Gillespie will preach. And choir practice for the Big Sing is next Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. The service at 4:30 is open to everyone. All the hymns chosen will be well-known ones. Dr. Peter Littman, Director of Music at the Cathedral, will be in charge, and the organist is Gareth Moore. And that's all that we have time for now, but I'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock with Sundown, and I'd love you to come and join me in our virtual lounge for our usual mix of your requests and dedications and a choice of the very best easy listening music. But for now, this is Judith saying thank you for listening and wishing you and those you love a blessed and peaceful week and a very good morning.
Station